Here's a question. What's the most terrifying place a human can be locked inside? You're probably thinking of a medieval dungeon. Rusted chains, rats in the corners, a screaming prisoner in the dark. But what if I told you? The most nightmarish chambers weren't medieval at all. They were modern. They had fluorescent lights, medical charts, and the stars and stripes stamped on every document. These weren't prisons. They were black sites, hidden across countries like Afghanistan, Poland, Thailand, and inside them, the CIA carried out interrogations so brutal they crossed into the realm of body horror. Story 1. Afghanistan, November 2002. Frozen to death. Afghanistan, November 2002. The black site they called the Salt Pit. A man named Gul Rahman was locked inside. His alleged crime? Suspected ties to terror groups. His punishment? To be used as an example. Guards stripped him naked, shackled his wrists to the wall. They poured cold water across the concrete floor until it turned into a sheet of ice. The air dropped below freezing, and Gul had nothing. No blanket, no clothes, no hope. He tried to curl his body for warmth, but the chains cut into his skin. His breath came out in clouds. Hours passed. His lips cracked. His flesh turned purple-blue. His body shook violently until it couldn't anymore. By dawn, he was dead, frozen like a discarded animal. And here's the part that'll stick with you. On the official report, they called it an error in judgment. No one punished. No trial. Just paperwork filed away in a locked cabinet. If you think that's the worst thing they did with cold, wait until you hear how they used water. Story 2. Thailand, March 2003. The Human Experiment. Thailand, March 2003. The CIA captures Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the alleged mastermind of 9/11. Now, what do you do with the world's most wanted man? They didn't question him with words. They turned him into an experiment. They strapped him to a gurney, tilted it downward so water could rush over his face. Then they poured over his nose, into his throat, drowning him again and again. One session lasted so long, he convulsed violently. His stomach filled with water until he vomited. Guards rushed to clear his throat just so they could keep going. He was waterboarded 183 times in a single month. Not 183 minutes. 183 drownings. His body racked with seizures, his brain on the edge of blackout. And the interrogators, they had clipboards. They timed each gasp, each choke, as if logging a science project. And yet, water wasn't the only liquid they used. Some experiments got far more twisted. Story 3. Poland, 2004. The Coffin Box. Poland, 2004. A secret CIA black site hidden deep in the countryside. Here, detainees were introduced to something straight out of a nightmare. The confinement box. 2 crates sat in a room, one the size of a coffin, the other barely big enough to crouch inside. Prisoners were shoved in, the lids slammed shut. Pitch black. No space to move. Muscles locked up until their legs felt like splintered wood. Their own urine soaked the floor beneath them. The air grew hot, stale, suffocating. But the cruelty didn't stop there. Guards discovered one prisoner had a deep fear of insects, so they slipped bugs into the box with him. Imagine that. Trapped in absolute darkness, body folded, skin burning from pressure, and then feeling tiny legs crawling across your chest. He was kept inside for hours, then days. By the time they dragged him out, he looked like a corpse pulled from a shallow grave. And if you think that sounds like death itself, the next method made men wish for death. Story 4. Iraq, 2003. Sleep until you break. Iraq, 2003. In yet another black site, prisoners weren't beaten. They weren't drowned. Instead, they were kept awake. Sounds harmless, right? Until you realize they weren't kept up for a night or two. Some were chained to the ceiling, blasted with bright lights and non-stop industrial noise for 180 hours straight. That's over a week, with zero sleep. By day 3, hallucinations started. Shadows crawled across the walls. They saw rats gnawing on their fingers. By day 5, their bodies convulsed uncontrollably, urine running down their legs. One detainee began clawing his own skin, convinced insects were burrowed underneath. Another begged for execution, whispering in a slurred voice, "Kill me, please." Interrogators didn't stop. They wrote it all down like doctors, timing when the screaming stopped, when reality collapsed. Sleep deprivation didn't just break bodies. It destroyed souls.